What would you say to someone who's afraid of the rocks in whitewater rafting, who'd prefer a much more sedate kind of stream to float down?
First, we would say, whether you're afraid of the speed of your stream or not, because that's what we're really talking about here, is the speed of the current. Whether you are afraid of it or not, you are the creator of the speed. In other words, it is your living of life that is causing you to launch those rockets of desire that are now summoning you. In other words, the power and the speed of the stream is of your making. And we've never known anyone who could effectively slow the stream down. So we say, don't be afraid of the speed of the stream. Just stop clinging to the rocks and you'll have a good time. In other words, no harm can come to you when you just let go and flow. It's the battling the current that wears you out and makes you tired and clouds your judgment and makes you sorry you came.
So it's the leap of faith, trusting that the stream will be safe.
Well, we suppose it is a leap of faith when you don't know that everything you want is downstream and we do. And you're right, because if you knew for sure it was down there, you'd go. And you must not know or you would go. So to go when you don't know must be faith. It must be, or insanity. But what we've noticed is that if you just try to trust a little, that the stream will give you enough evidence that in time it will teach you of its truth and its certainty. That's one of the most wonderful things about law of attraction. It's not arbitrary. It doesn't squirrel around on you. It always gives you exactly a vibrational match to what you're offering. So if you begin to pay attention just a little bit to a deliberate effort at letting go of the oars and flowing a little more, and then you pay attention to what's happening in your life experience, it does not take much before you show yourself, and then it's not faith, it's knowledge. So that gap of faith, we suppose, is that interim of time when you say, okay, I don't know if this better feeling thought is really going to get me to where I want to go. All I know is that it feels better. And we say, that's the part that is the most surprising, that it is so hard to convince our human friends about. Because most of you will say, oh, well, I would be willing to do it if I thought it would get me toward my successful end. But I don't think I should do it just because it feels better. And we say, oh, you really did get twisted around in those early formative years, didn't you? Think about it. Isn't that interesting? I'm not willing to think this better feeling thought because it might not work. We say, but on the upside, it is better feeling. And you say, well, yeah, it feels better, but will it work? And we say, how can there be a question about that? Well, because we've been trained to paddle upstream. We've been trained differently. And we say, how's that working out? And most of you say, well, I'm eking it out. I'm banging it out. And compared to the other banger-outers, I'm doing all right. I'm holding my own. And we say, but have you compared yourself to those who have faith? Have you compared yourself to those who trust and believe? In other words, there is no way. When you start going with the flow on faith, and then eventually it becomes knowing, when you get in that sort of flow, there's no way that you could compare the well-being and resources that flow to you in relationship to those that flow to the people who are banging it out. In other words, those that are banging it out, they compare and they say, oh yeah, I make $100,000 a year. And some say, oh yeah, I make $500,000 a year. But those who really, really thrive and prosper, you just can't make a comparison on effort and hours and productivity. You just can't. You have to turn and go with the flow. And then you will begin a new comparative experience, and it will be a comparative experience of others who have faith and who have gone with the flow. And it is our promise to you. Everything about your experience will give you evidence of your consistent direction within the stream. And those who are watching you from the sidelines, they will be stunned at what they begin to notice. You'll hear comments relative to you. They'll say, well, he just seems so much happier. He seems so sure of himself. He seems so much more secure. And it seems that he barely speaks of something that he's interested in, and it appears before him. And it seems that everything I hear him say he'd like to experience, some door opens and he experiences it effortlessly and easily. Those who watch someone tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when they're not tuned in, tapped in, turned on, they'll think that there's injustice going on, because your share of thriving will be huge in comparison with theirs. And we say, law of attraction's interesting. It's like a giant magnifying glass is laid over the whole of humanity. And those who are thriving more, and those who aren't more. Those who are well are weller than ever. And those who are sick are sicker than ever. And those who are thriving in terms of dollars are prosperous beyond reason, and those who are not are suffering beyond reason. And so many people are sort of worried that the middle ground of people is disappearing and the extremes are becoming so evident. And we say, in times of fast-moving energy, that's always the way that it happens. Because when the stream moves fast and you don't stay up with it, you have a horrible ride. And when the stream moves fast and you stay up with it, you have a glorious ride. And there is no in-between in a fast-moving stream. And you all knew it was going to be fast when you signed on this time. You said, ooh, this looks really fun. I think I'll go forth and I'll let this environment stir me up and inspire me, and then I'll turn my undivided attention to what I've been inspired to, and off I'll go. And then you were born, and your mother said, get hold of those oars and follow me upstream. And you said, but mother, it seems so logical. Shut up, no one asked you. Get hold of those oars and follow me upstream, or you won't be prepared for college, where everyone gets hold of those oars and goes upstream. And you say, but it seems like there should be an easier way. Of course it does, you lazy boy. Of course it seems that there should be an easier way. And so the really, really lazy ones become very rich sports figures. And they earn beyond reason.
Okay, thank you very much.